And you're probably interested in anything new at namm, which is always nice. And I've been coming to namm now for, I don't know, 35 years, something like that. And every now, as the years went on, I've had some great opportunities to work with various companies, and they make anything I want. It's amazing. It's great. And each year, we always try to up the ante and develop and evolve what we're doing to something, I don't know, newer and newer. And we just like nailed it 35 years ago when we introduced the Gem. The Gem was a very peculiar guitar when it came out. I mean, if you can imagine, if you're sort of like a respectable company like Hoshino, and some crazy 25-year-old pseudo rock star comes along and says, yeah, you can make me a guitar, but it has to be fluorescent colors, and I'm going to put a monkey grip handle in it, So they were scratching their head wondering, what is this guy out of his mind? And, but it was a fine instrument. I had built the Gem around my idiosyncrasies as a player. And Hoshino just delivered it to the T. And all through the years, 35 years of just incredible success. I may not be able to have a hit record, but I can have a hit guitar. And that's nice. And it's been really nice. And through the years, it's just been amazing to see the support of this instrument and the RG, which is basically a sister guitar, and phenomenal success. And I always kind of felt like I wanted to evolve the instrument a bit, not just aesthetically, because every year we would introduce something differently aesthetically, but actually give it a little bit of a different shape. So I worked up the courage, because it's a little bit of a risky move, but I didn't see it that way, because when the creative urge kicks in, all that stuff goes away. What will people think of this? And what about this? And what about that? And sure, those concerns, it's kind of like when you make music, if you're focused on what the concerns are going to be, you're dead in the water, because then you're trying to please everybody, and it just never works. You know what I mean? That never works. So I've discovered that you have to please yourself first. That sounds selfish, but you know what? It is. And who cares? Because when you please yourself, you win twice. The first way is you're pleasing yourself. You're doing something, either you're writing a piece of music or you're designing something that feels like you. It feels like it's like your secret, so to speak. And then when you do that, your authenticity flows into what you do. And many of you know that, and when that happens, the way you win the second time is the right audience for that thing, whether it's a piece of music or a guitar, will come to it, and it's the right audience for you. And in my career, my audience, it's never been the big pop audience, which is fine. I as much as I love that, I just never could bring myself there. But I've always brought myself someplace that always felt like a comfortable place, and it works for that audience. And when it came time to start evolving this guitar, I was so excited about it, and I just thought, what would be the evolution? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? And that is even an evolution of the Gem for me, because the Gem, as beautiful, successful of an instrument is, it's a 25-year-old Steve Vai when I see it, And it was time for a 60-year-old Steve Vai. And so obviously the first thing that we changed was the grip. And I don't even know if you call it a grip. I mean, you can still grip it. But there will never be a grip as practical as the monkey grip on the Gem. I defy anybody to create one of those. But this is still, it was more for the aesthetic. And let me tell you how I lamented over what this was going to be. We tried various things, and luckily for me, Hoshino was just filled with all these very creative people who are very eager to raise that bar. And they started coming up with designs, and then, you know, we started playing with them, and eventually this pedal design, P-E-T-A-L, like a flower pedal, sort of started to evolve. And I really, there was an attraction, and you wouldn't believe how many we were looking at, different weird, you know, and I'm like, oh, no. Well, that, you know, you kind of fine-tune it, and then finally, when we decided on the 2 pedal grips, you would not believe how long it took me to, because I had like a little illustrate, you know, they sent me illustration program so I could move these things around on the deck. Months and months of sitting there and then, okay, I think I got it. Can you make this? And I get a prototype and I look at it, it's like, damn, that's not it. And it just might have been just a little bit, you know, until finally I was just sitting and tweaking it, driving everybody mad. And then it was like, it's like it was always there, and you just had to find it. You know that feeling? So that's how I felt when these lined up finally. And then we thought, you know, let's get artistic with it. Why not? You know, there's so many great guitars out there, and most of the time when people are making guitars, they're looking for the aggressive market. They're really sleek, cool, and there's some great ones. You know, there's really some great ones out there. But I've always had a tendency to offer a different flavor. And this is nice because diversity is everything. Right? And as a result, the guitar, the PIA started to take on more of a artistic shape as opposed to like a badass metal shape, you know? And I don't know, that's just the way what came out. I don't fight it. I just let it come out because Steve Vai gets the fuck out of the way. You know? And so we started getting a little more artistic with it. And there was a couple little things like moving the volume pot down just a little bit because for 35 years I just kept hitting it a little bit. I always said, I'd like that volume down just a hair. You know? So it's just a hair down, it's perfect. And I have this great device on my gems, my personal gems, that it's a low-pass filter. I'm sorry, high-pass filter, low-cut filter. Because when you bring the volume down, the bottom end has a tendency to just like saturate the tone. You want a nice clean tone. And this kicks in a capacitor and dumps out everything below like, what, 150 or something? About that. And it just cleans up the tone beautifully. And then, of course, because of my relationship with Larry Marzio, we have this great opportunity to develop all these cool pickups and things like that. So we decided to change the sound of the Evolution pickup, and we made the Utopia. And the way I crafted that was I put a little more smoother top end, a little tighter bottom end, and just a tad more output. And I went through 30 or 40 different prototypes to find these pickups. And the inlay, it's always fun to play with a new inlay. It can be a little maddening at times, you know. We went through some different designs, and Ibanez started sending me tons. And then I wanted to kind of create this, because we have these 3 color models that are limited just for this year. So the inlay on these 3 actually pick up the color of each guitar. And they're the same inlay, the neck. But the inlay itself is different. It's not the tree of life. And the dimensions, these dimensions to these yin and yang signs, we kind of subtly incorporated them into various aspects of the guitar to get like that, sort of like a synergy effect, you know? And so you can see it picked up in all of these. You can see it picked up in these pickup covers that were designed by Mike Mesker. They're just gorgeous. If you get a chance, take a close look at these. I mean, it's glitzy, but that's what it is. And but they're just gorgeous. I mean, amazing. And I wanted to kind of smooth out the body of it. I love the gem, but it's got the hard edges. So all the edges are beveled a bit. We beveled this back a bit, which is kind of nicer to the feel when you sit. And also, beveled this a bit. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I didn't realize it was going to feel so nice. I would have done it 35 years ago. And something very simple, you know, magnets to hold the back plate. You know, I mean, why didn't they ever think of this before? I mean, this guitar, you don't need to take it off. I need to take it off to change the strings because I usually have a trem setter. But a lot of guitars that have back plates have screws. And now you'll start seeing them use magnets perhaps. Because it's a good idea. And all good ideas should be shared. Only the ego believes it can own an idea. All right. Yeah? Did I miss anything? And there it is, and this is the PIA, and it stands for Paradise in Art. And why did I call it the PIA? Because it's a very artistic guitar. It's kind of art, you know? And it feels like paradise to me. And also, it's named my wife, that I've been with for 40 years. So, these guitars will probably be around perhaps long after us, but I cannot be more pleased with the response so far from the fans, from the people who have seen it, and my appreciation to all you guys for being interested here and being here today. Any questions?
Steve, congratulations on the new model.
Thank you.
The gem has evolved a lot over the years, obviously over the 33 years or 35 years it's been around. Normally when these evolutions happen it's because you road test these guitars, you take them out, you make these tweaks over time. This guitar hasn't been on the road as far as we're aware.
Yes.
How did you make sure that you got it right the first time?
I didn't. You don't know these things. Do you make records? You ever make a CD?
It sounds silly compared to what you bit.
It doesn't matter. But you ever notice how you record a CD and as you're doing it, you know that, okay, this is I'm doing the best I can. This sounds right to me. And then once it's actually out on a CD and you've had it for like a year and you're listening to it, okay, I see. And there's certain things you want to tweak, and you tweak them on your next record. So. And that's the way it's been with the Gem. So this guitar you never really know until you take it to the battlefield. When you get it on a tour, not just one stage, but like a whole tour. And then you start feeling it, you know what I mean? Because there's things I can play it in my bedroom forever. But until I get it on the stage, you just don't know. So yes, it will go through alterations. They always do. And one thing I mentioned too, we don't plan on discontinuing the Gem. I mean, that's continuing to evolve too, and they'll evolve hand in hand as long as people are interested to buy them. Sorry, they need to clear the room. I'm so sorry I was late, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Woo! Yeah!
Feel free to fondle my PIA.